What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. If you're listening on the podcast, welcome back to a brand new audio. My name is Ty Martin. I'm a sales consultant for those of you that don't know me. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about why I left a sales job where I was projected to be making over $100,000 a year or more with the amount of sales I was producing for the company. It was a good job in terms of what the product was. It was a good job in terms of, the actual commission payout. I was getting about $1,200 per sale. So everything was good on that end. We were selling home water systems, entire home water system. So it would be a water softener plus an alkaline drinking water tap that would go in their kitchen by the sink. I don't know why I blanked out there for a second, but we would get a home water system by the sink with alkaline water that had an 8 filtration system. And we also had a softener that would soften all the water that was going throughout the whole house, shower, bathrooms, and everything like that. That was awesome. It was a good product that I was selling. The product quality was good. I actually ended up getting it at my parents' house. So they have it there. They're loving it. They've loved it. They've had that for years now. But one of the things that really made me leave was the management. Okay. I didn't like the managers and their tactics. So the owner of the company, the owner of that office, he actually had 8 different locations that he was owning and running. But he had this one manager that was a little sly. He just was not an ethical seller, and ethical sales is huge for me. When it comes to sales, I've done a lot of sales jobs. I've sold a lot of different products, a lot of different services. And one of the biggest things for me is I have to believe what I'm selling. I have to actually be selling something that I know is going to be beneficial to the prospect, beneficial to the person that I'm offering it to, especially if I'm going to have to go there, look them in the face and tell them that it is. I don't have it in me to look at someone and tell them, hey, this is the best thing for you right now. This is definitely something that you should be taking up on. This is something you should be doing. If I don't truly believe that it is, it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with my morals and values as a Christian either. I don't like doing it. So the biggest thing for me is selling something that's amazing. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I started my own business, why I sell my own services and products now, because I have full control over the quality of the service that I deliver. When I go into sales situations, I genuinely want to help people. And that's what really turned me off about this one company. I'm not going to name the name because it's really not the fault on the company as a whole. It's really not a fault of the product as well. It's really just this one manager that was there. And just to give you guys a little glimpse, this manager was so bad and so shady that he had a fake name. So when people would call into the company, he would use a fake name because his name was so burnt and so synonymous with of just being scammy or scummy that people actually requested that he be fired over and over again. So instead of actually letting go of the guy and firing him, he used a fake name. And that is something to be said about the higher ups, that they wouldn't get rid of him, but they wouldn't get rid of him because he made a lot of sales. But the way he made a lot of sales wasn't in the most ethical way. Again, we were selling home improvement systems in terms of water quality. We would go have home appointments into their house and pitch them on water quality, why the water isn't as clean as you think it is, and how we can make it cleaner, we can make it better. There'd be less bleach, less things, less hard dissolved solids in the water. And he would lie. He would, put spouses against each other. He would do whatever it was that he thinks would get them to buy the product. I remember one time I was in a house and, I was just talking to one of the prospects, and part of the pitch was to get the manager on the phone to help explain the product when we were getting to that point of close. And so when we were at that point, he would talk to the prospect, see where they're at, and then he would talk to us as the reps and give us some advice on what we should do, what we should say to make sure that deal gets closed. And one thing that really shocked me that he told me to say was, he's like, hey, I think they have a baby. Do they have a baby? And I was like, yeah, they do. They're like, how old? I was like, maybe like 1 or 2. And they're like, okay, so you got to get one, you got to get one of the baby's clothes and wash it in our water. So just to explain that, one thing we would do is we would take an item of clothes, wash it in the soft water, and show that it's actually more efficient at cleaning than regular tap water. And the kind of idea there was, when water is passing through the pipes, when it's collecting, when it has chlorine put into it and all of these things, all of these dissolved solids that are collected in the water, it's denser and it's not as good at absorbing things as cleaner, fresher, or less dense water would be. So when you soften the water, it actually pulls out more dirt, more soap from the clothes, rendering the clothes cleaner, which is true. So what we would do is we would ask them to get a clean piece of clothing. We would take that piece of clothing, put it in our cleaner, softened water, and show them that there's still so much dirt left in the clothes. We'd wring out the clothes and you'd see all the dirt that came out of it, even though they thought it was clean, even though it was fresh out of the wash. So one thing he would love to do, and he told me to do, was he said, go get a piece of the baby's clothes, clean it, show them there's dirt in it, and ask the guy if he actually loves his baby. Right? And it just sounded crazy. I was like, you want me to look him in the face and be like, oh, if you don't buy this, you don't love your child, you don't love your baby. And that's something he would do regularly. That was part of his whole thing. If he found out they had a baby, he would go in on it. And I wouldn't say that that's like horrible, and it wasn't the thing that really pushed me over the edge to leave. But he did a lot of little tactics like that, and it was a lot of things like that building up that really made me say, okay, I don't know if I want to really work here and work for a place like this anymore, especially if he's the top salesman in that company. That's why he got promoted to a manager, and if this is how he became the top salesman, it's not really a company I want to stick with, and it's not the kind of tactics I want to teach or be taught as well. And a big thing he would do, one of his biggest things, he said this to a customer in front of my face. When a customer bought the product, when you get the system installed, you have an 11-day period where you can actually request to have the system removed at no extra cost. It's kind of like a buyer's remorse thing. If you get it installed and you don't like it within 11 days, you can cancel, and you get out of the contract good to go. So what he would do, since you could not get out of the contract if it passed 11 days, if someone asked, hey, what's the buyback period on this? What's the release period? He would tell everyone that the period was 13 or 15 days. He would say, yeah, no worries. Call me on day 15. If you don't like it, call me on day 13, and we'll take it out, no extra cost, knowing that if they did call him, then they would be screwed. So what he would do is he would tell people that, and on after day 11, he would block their number. Or if they did call him, he would say, oh, well, that sucks. The policy just changed. Have a good one. See ya, and hang up on them and laugh. Right? I've actually seen him do that. And these are just the things that give salesmen such a negative look. It's why so many people have a negative stigma when it comes to either being in a sales role themselves or seeing a salesman and talking to a salesman, in terms of just how much they trust them and thinking all of them are sleazy and slimy. And it's just one thing that really bothers me when it comes to doing sales. And I've been, again, in a lot of sales roles, a lot of sales jobs where there are sales guys that do stuff like that all the time, but it's really not the majority. It's not as much as you'd think. It's usually a few of them that are like that ruin it for the whole bunch. Being at that job, making a good amount of money, it really just wasn't worth it. I think I was like 18 or 19 at the time. It wasn't worth the money, though. As you could tell, that place had a very, very high turnover rate of how long people stayed. And I was always good at sales because I had done other sales roles before, and it's something I had been naturally good at. So I could have stayed, I could have made a lot more money, but then just working with someone who would do that, act like that, teach that to new people, it's not somewhere where I wanted to be long term. Personally, I just need to make sure I was selling something I believed in. I need to make sure I was selling something that genuinely helped people. Like I said before, I can't see myself doing it any other way, because then I'm just not proud about what I'm selling, and I can't confidently speak to that person as if I'm actually helping them. If you're someone that's looking to get into sales, or you're in a sales role right now, trust me, at the end of the day, you have to make sure you're selling a product that works, selling a product that's good quality. There's always going to be companies looking for good salesmen. Please, please, please vet the product. Don't just jump into any sales role that looks like it pays well. Don't just jump into any sales role that looks like it has good commission. Make sure you're looking at the company, looking at the integrity of the managers, and talk to the highest closer on that sales team and see where his head's at, see what his values are, and make sure that he's someone that you could actually learn from, that's doing sales in an ethical way, closing in an ethical manner. But that's it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to tell that quick story of why I quit a $100,000 a year sales job. It's because the place was unethical. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment. If you guys ever worked for a company where their sales was a little iffy, if you ever worked for a company where the sales team and the product you were selling was awesome, I'd love to hear about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.